Jujutsu Kaisen is a series defined by the many tragedies that befall its cast and the horrific ends characters must go to in order to achieve their goal and live true to their ideals. And although the themes of past versus present or of rebirth are very pivotal to the series, the one theme I personally believe to be the most central to the story Gege is trying to tell is the idea of purpose. Basically, it's a story about characters trying to find their purpose in life and how they choose to live in accordance to that purpose. And so that is what we shall discuss today. If you find yourself entertained at any point during the video, then consider liking, subscribing and ringing that bell, as I cannot explain to you how much just a small action can do for this channel. And if you want to support this channel even further, then perhaps check out my Patreon. Anyway, on with the video. Itadori Yuji at the start of the series has a goal and so a conviction. He made a promise with his grandfather as he passed, that he would save as many people as he can and to give people a proper death. And why does he believe he can achieve this? Because he is strong and the strong can protect the weak, and because he believes one's death is an important part of their life. As shown very clearly by Mahito, life itself doesn't have any predetermined purpose. The soul is the same as the physical body, it is just something that most people cannot see nor interact with. And this is the very crux of Mahito's argument, that if the soul just exists and is the same as everything else, then it has no real significance, and so no real worth or purpose. He believes that because it has no inherent value, that human lives amount to nothing. He sees no issue in killing and playing with humans because nothing has value and so nothing matters. And the thing is that to an extent he is right. The soul is just another part of the body, it is just something that in the grand scheme of things is worth the same as any stone or drop of water. However, that itself doesn't matter. A soul is malleable, it can change, heck this is something Mahito's curse technique literally showcases. The soul can become whatever it wants and so it can make something of itself and become something. We don't have an innate purpose in this world, we instead choose what we want to do and then live in accordance with that idea. Yuji wants to save people because it is what he wants to do, and he wants to give people a proper death because that is what he believes is right. Objectivity has no place in the conversation, it is just a difference of opinion. But that is something that Yuji fails to understand. He insists on his viewpoint being right, that Mahito is wrong, and that's why he always fails to defeat him, because he cannot admit that Mahito is just as right as he is. To Yuji it's common sense to kill cursed spirits, and for Mahito it is common sense to kill humans. Yuji before meeting Mahito held all life to a sacred degree. He believed that one's death is a vital part in the importance of their life, so he strives to give people what in his mind is a good death, like how his grandfather peacefully passed away. He considers murder to be a corruption of one's life. He vows against murder as a hard set rule. But as said already, killing cursed spirits is fine because they aren't human. And once again this is where Mahito steps in, as he doesn't just look human but is also born from the fears humans feel to one another. Mahito's actions are in a complete 180 to Yuji's ideals. He kills people on a whim and gives people horrid deaths. He forces people to devalue their own lives by convincing them to murder. He forces Yuji to question his own ideals and his own goal. Yuji, as he says to Junpei, doesn't kill because he knows that if he does, the meaning of life will become ambiguous to him, that he won't be able to, as to do so would corrode away the meaning of life. It isn't that he thinks killing is objectively wrong, more that if he was to kill, his subjective views on it would change. Yet when faced with the transfigured humans, he has to question his own ideals. Would he bring less value to their lives by killing them? Would he taint his own heart by doing so? Or by killing them, humans have been transfigured and lost the shape of their soul, in essence, have become meaningless. Would he be bringing them salvation? The point to this conflict of his is not that he has to find the right choice or the correct one, but has to find the choice he is willing to make. He must make a decision that won't compromise his own chosen way of life, as to do so would corrode his heart beyond repair. This might be why when he dies it's because his heart was removed. His body may be a vessel for Sukuna, but not his heart. In this scene, Sukuna holds the heart of Yuji and it is framed as if the heart is Yuji and the body is now Sukuna. It's the one thing Sukuna has yet to taint, the one thing that defines who Yuji really is. Now Yuji specifically uses the word kill when talking about Mahito, even if he is a cursed spirit, because that is the resolve Yuji has taken to live by his purpose in life. This fight acts as the turning point, in my opinion, of Yuji, when he becomes certain of who he is and what he strives to make of his life. When he became Sukuna's host, he resolved to save as many people as he could before he died, because it's something only he, the vessel, could do. But now he doesn't think like that. He isn't doing something only he can do, he's doing something he chooses to do. This is why Todo's line about what kind of girls do you like is, to me, one of the most significant pieces of dialogue in the entire series. What this question really means is, do you know who you are and what you want to do? Yuji answers instantly because he understands what he wants to do. He has a chosen path in life, a purpose he strives to uphold. Megumi, on the other hand, someone with only a vague direction but no strong ideals of his own, gets beat down for his wishy-washy answer. Because what Todo values is people who know who they are, because you can't live your life to the fullest if you don't understand what your life means to you. Throughout the series we see countless examples of this. Nanami, for example, his work as a sorcerer was to him pointless. He thought that instead of finding meaning in life, he would just have his life tainted and die full of regrets. He goes on to work as an office worker to escape the pain and misfortune, yet this leaves him empty. Only when he exercises the spirit of a bakery worker does he feel something again, even though he knows he will die a painful death, full of regrets. Nanami came to realise that the brief gratitude he got from the people he saved was enough to give his life meaning. He didn't go back to becoming a sorcerer because it was the only path for him to walk. He did it because it was the path he chose to walk. Hey, this may be why Mahito surpassed his fellow special grade cursed spirits. Because unlike them who just cause chaos and suffering, because that's what cursed spirits do, he had an active goal. He chose to hurt and torment Yuji specifically. He got stronger to that end, and as such he lived his life, cursed spirit be damned, in service to this purpose he chose for himself. Which once again is something that makes him so very much human, and what again makes him such a brilliant foil for Yuji. Maki, despite having a life laid out for her by her clan to be a servant and nothing more, chose to forge her own path. She chose to make something of her life by becoming a sorcerer, even if she couldn't use cursed energy. There are countless examples in the series of this, as it is a core element of the series, because what is important is how you choose to live your life. Once again, as Mahito makes clear, life has no inherent value, so we as people need to ascribe value to it. Our purpose is just what we make of it, it's how we decide to live. After all, what is the same question posed to both Yuji and Yuta at the start of their respective stories? Why are you here? Life is finite, it sometimes ends quickly and brutally, something seen countless times in the series, and so because of that fact, we have to make the most of every moment we have and so live it to the fullest in the time we have. Yuji, our protagonist, remember, is someone who quite literally has a time limit on his life. Once he consumes all the fingers of Sukuna, he will be executed. After being temporarily pardoned from execution at the beginning of the story, he vows to make use of the life he has left in the name of his self-chosen purpose in life. Life only has purpose if you ascribe purpose to it. It's your decision to live in a way you want. Which once again is the question that Yuji had to come to understand and answer for himself over the course of the story. Why are you here? As the only one who decides such a thing is you, because the only one who can give your life value is you. Comment of the week comes from Regular Person, and thanks, the sentiment means a lot. If you're interested in my literary endeavours, then why not check out my books Gang, Fluid Justice and People of Fate Volume 1, available at Amazon.com. And if you want to go the extra mile in supporting this channel, then consider pledging to my Patreon, where for as little as £2.75 a month, you can get your name at the end of the video, like Hikari Desu, 7SO, Rinjak9696 and Dewey. So with all that said and done, I've been Seth the Sin, the Deadly Sin of Geek, and I'm signing out. Stay safe, everyone.